Today's program is from a legend in the strength and conditioning world. And this legend is very polarizing, so you either love him or you hate him. Let's find out if the hype stacks up, whether or not his program lives up to who he is as a strength and conditioning coach. What's up, everyone? Jason Brown here, King of Programming, back for another program review. Mike Boyle, love him or hate him. I will be honest, I am a little bit indifferent. I definitely think that he's a smart guy. I definitely think that there is some credibility to what he's done in the space. There are some things I don't agree with, and I really want to take a look at his program and see what he's all about. So on these reviews, what do I look at? I look at the fundamentals of program design, exercise order, exercise selection, sets, reps, and rest intervals, and conditioning. Is there any conditioning? What type of conditioning? How is it delivered? So know that we are looking at what is here. I want to stress that so much to you guys because I oftentimes get haters that chime in and say, you didn't watch the video, you didn't do this. I don't care about the video. I care about what is in the program itself. What are you? If you are the end user, what are you doing? Here it is. That's what we're looking at. Okay, so this program review today is a program that is geared for adult performance. I like that. Because I think that adults need performance, right? They need performance, they need strength, they need conditioning. And I do think that getting them the right program is tough this day and age because there's so many bad programs out there that are absolutely killing people. Hopefully that's not the case with this program. And I would probably guess if I had to just put my money where my mouth is, I'd say this program probably is not going to be like some of the ones we've seen in the past, but let's take a look at it. So this app, Train Heroic app, is an app I use for my own training subscription, so it makes these a lot easier. And let's get right into what we have. So this day, as a whole, I don't see what it is. It looks like a full body day just at first glance, but what I see out of the gate is a giant set, a superset, a giant set, and then some conditioning. So a lot of stuff for the first day, but some basic stuff. So we've got goblet squat, 3 sets of 12, half kneeling chop, and then a front plank. So we've got squat with core, okay? Which is fine. I think that's a great way to do things. I've done that in my own programs as well, pairing some anti-rotation, anti-lateral flexion, things like that with a main pattern of the day, in this case, a goblet squat. I don't see any rest intervals. And for those of you who've seen some of the past reviews on the Train Heroic app, a lot of the programs don't have rest intervals. And it's easy to put them in. I put them in my own program. There's always rest intervals. I don't know why someone wouldn't put them in, but again, it's not there on this. But overall, I think this is fine. I don't think it's overly sexy or overly complex, but again, it's not bad, all right? So let's move on to what we have for number 2. We have a single leg RDL in a row. And then I just want to go through the exercise selection here because there's a similar structure across the day. We got a push up, an X pull down, and a get up to elbow, which I think is a plank from push-up position down to elbows, which it is. So this day as a whole, let's kind of just take some inventory on what's here. We've got a squat pattern, a hinge pattern, we've got a row pattern, we've got a push pattern, and then we've got obviously a fair amount of core work here. So overall, full body, does it check the box? Yes, it does. The way it's done, again, this is a particular style of programming that is not my style, it might not be your style, but this is a style of programming that is here, and I think that it's perfectly fine. I don't love it, but I definitely don't hate it, and I think that if someone is an adult and they're looking for just kind of basic things, this program will certainly check the boxes. Now, let's look at the conditioning. We've got conditioning done at the end for 8 minutes, 15 seconds on, 45 seconds off. I like that. It's definitely going to be more anaerobic. Across 8 minutes with only 45 seconds rest isn't full recovery. We're going to definitely dip into the aerobic system. Doing strength and conditioning on the same day. Here's a logic that people will make. Well, I only have 3 days a week to train, so I have to do it somewhere, which is fine. But if you only have 3 days a week to train, why not train 2 days for strength and 1 day for conditioning? Or conversely, why don't we train 1 day for strength, 2 days for conditioning, and you mix and match, okay? You mix and match the approach. Maybe at certain times of the year, you want to bias more body composition and strength, and you do 2 full body days and 1 conditioning day. That's my logic. I like to separate them. They are different things, and they require their own days. But again, how this day is done overall, I don't have any issue with it. I think it's perfectly fine. It's a style of programming that probably works for a lot of people. So let's move on. And if you guys can already see, there's a lot of programs in my app. I am subscribed to a lot of trials, so I can do these reviews for you guys. So day 2 is 25-minute bike at a steady pace. So this is more of our conversational zone 2 cyclical style day, which I really like, but I would like to see it done a little bit longer. I would like to see it done with multiple pieces. I know a bike for simplicity. Most people that are training at maybe a commercial gym or Mike Boyle's gym have access to an air bike. Staying on it for 25 minutes is a lot to ask of people. So here's what I would do. I would do 30 minutes on the bike, but every 5 minutes I would get off and I would do XYZ, right? Like some body weight, some core. You could mix in some of that core stuff he did on the first day. You could move that to here and then focus more on the exercises on that strength day, more so than you would if those exercises were there. So again, kind of just some things that I'm thinking out loud here now seeing this. Every 5 minutes I'd get off the bike and I would do something that takes about 60 seconds. So that way we're still spending the crux of that session on the bike, but mentally it breaks up the monotony of just pedaling for 25 minutes at a steady state. So again, kind of something to think about, my own personal take. Let's move on. So far so good though. This is a solid program. I mean, this is what I would expect from Mike Boyle. And you know, if Mike Boyle looked at my program, he might say he doesn't like my style of programming, which is perfectly fine. I'm not saying I don't like the style, it's just a different style than I would use, all right? So we're looking at day 2 here, and let's just check the boxes here. So we've got split squat, iso, plank. So let's just check the box on whether or not this is a full body day, which it appears to be. We've got a single leg, we've got an upper pull, a hinge, we've got a press, we got a row. So we're good. We got full body, we got upper push pull and lower body work. We're good to go. And how this is set up is essentially 3 giant sets, so 9 exercises, and we've got a lot of core work. He definitely does go the length, the distance with core work. I think that overall how things are programmed, sets, reps, look good. There are no rest intervals, isometric chin-up hold. I mean, I really like this program, guys, because it is very concise. There's not an overabundance of sets. We're not spending hours to do this stuff. He does have some more conditioning, which is 20 seconds on, 40 seconds rest, 10 times. So essentially 10 minutes, definitely gonna be more. You probably will shift more into aerobic, but by virtue of what it is, it's certainly gonna be very anaerobic. So I like that the conditioning days, albeit they're not full anaerobic, they're definitely not full recovery. I think lends itself better to what this day is as a whole, just being more anaerobic in nature. But again, the same thing that I just said about strength and conditioning, do you do them in the same days? That still remains, as I said. So overall, I like this day. I like the exercise selection. I like that he is really, there is definitely an emphasis on longevity with this program. So more programs could benefit from this style. More people could benefit from this style of programming than just doing the same old random crazy shit that we tend to see. So overall, I think this is a good day of training. Let's move on. Where are we? All right, adult performance. We've got another conditioning day. So definitely big emphasis on conditioning this program, which is awesome to see. I don't see that done on programs that are coming from more from the strength and conditioning world. I tend to see more emphasis on strength and hypertrophy. Ride 2 minutes on, rest 1 minute, repeat 6 times. This is still recovery based, but you're going to notice that your heart rate is elevated for longer. Great, I love this day, awesome. Again, I would do it a little bit different just because I'm thinking about what will someone do long-term. And I don't know how long he has people doing the same variations. Maybe it's for 4 weeks at a time. But I would think about how compliant will someone be. And again, that's just kind of my own personal feedback, if you will. So let's move on to our next day. Power, no med ball. So he's doing some med ball work, I like. And then he's got 3 more giant sets, full body. So we got single leg, we got press, we got a lot of core work. Another RDL. I see a lot of RDL variations here. I'd like to see some different hinging. I'd like to see maybe some bridging or some hip thrusts. But overall, I mean, again, very, very, very well laid out and no rest intervals, okay? So which again is kind of something that I'm seeing now in this app. A lot of people aren't plugging in the rest intervals. I think for this style of training, it's pretty much, you know, are you gonna need to rest an exorbitant amount of time? Probably not, just based on the exercise selection. But overall, if someone is looking for just kind of general fitness, longevity, definitely a great program to do it. So, and that's it for the week, okay? So let's just review what we've looked at. We've looked at essentially 3 full body days, consisting mostly of giant sets, 3 of them, so 9 exercises, 3 sets across the board, which I like. Again, I've said it before, you can get a lot from a little if you put the effort in. If you do 3 sets of 8 to 10 and you put the effort in and you're 1 to 2 reps away from failure, you're gonna get a lot from it, okay? You don't need to be sitting here doing 5, 6, 7 sets. I would be willing to ask you if you are doing that many sets, how true to reps in reserve are you being? Okay, so again, that's a question to ask. So 3 full body days, lots of core work. And again, that's something that is very specific to Mike Boyle. He does program a lot of that work. That is something that you can see in his programs, which again, I'm of the mind that it's a lot to me. And we do know that there are specific things we need to do, but do we need to do that much of it? That's a question to ask. And maybe in his experience, the answer is yes, which I would assume it is because that's what's in this program. There is a lot of conditioning, which I really like. I have, some small feedback on the conditioning, but overall, for what this program is, I think it is very solid. So let's go into the pros. Pros are the fundamentals are on point, except there are no rest intervals. So I would give him, 10 out of 10 in fundamentals. If the rest interval's there, it'd be 10 out of 10. It's probably 9 out of 10 just because we don't have the rest intervals, which I'm almost positive Mike Boyle knows what the rest intervals are. And then number 2, huge emphasis on conditioning. Love it. Okay, I love it. Now the question is, can we do it optimally on a strength day? That's another question for another day. And for what this program is geared towards, the overall intent, I think it's hitting the mark. People that use this program will probably complain because it doesn't feel hard enough, but if they do this program and execute it with maximal intent, they're gonna get a lot from this. My cons are, it is a different style of programming, which might not be a con, it might be just a con to me. I don't think I would go as deep with as many variations for the core. You've got everything in there, and I think that there are certainly cases where someone might need that, but I think that you can get away with a lot less and maybe have some room for some other things like some direct arm work or some other things that might prioritize a limiting factor for that individual. So that's something that I would do. And again, I don't even know if that's a con or not, but it is something more specific to my own personal opinion. My other con is that there are no rest intervals, but overall, I think this is a very solid program. And now I'm gonna give this program, the score that I've given now 3 programs that are 3 very solid programs, 9.1. See you guys on the next review. So what do you guys think of this program? I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Does it deserve the hype or does it deserve the hate? Let me know in the comments.
Best program available on the internet today.
I think it's very difficult to find a trainer like Jason that...
Since joining Everyday Heroes, I feel like I've stopped working out and actually started training.